I'm Kayla.
And I'm Haley.
And we majored in English for this.
For this?
This week we read Book 2 of the Earthsinger Chronicles by Penelope, Whispers of Shadow and Flame. I don't have the pub date in front of me, Haley. Do you?
October 1st. I don't know why I'm being weird. 2019.
1 de octubre. I don't know how to say 2019 in Spanish, so that's what you get.
I don't know how to say anything in Spanish. I don't know why I was just acting a fool right there. Okay, anyway, let's hop right in. No dilly-dallying.
Yeah.
So, recap, or a couple things about last episode. Cover artist, Jamie Jones. If you didn't see our Instagram post, he does illustration and concept art. He's worked for Star Wars.
Am I supposed to be excited about that?
Yes.
I have never seen a single Star Wars, nor shall I ever.
I don't know what even one war was about. Okay, and the chapter artwork was done by David Curtis, and they're the crests for the family houses. Mm-hmm. I think he liked our post on Instagram, which was really cool. Mm-hmm. And thank you for Penelope for sharing who he was. Very cool. Also, wanted to apologize for my audio last week. Horrendous. Absolutely unforgivable.
Did you
I couldn't even listen to it, dude.
Did you, it was fine, and then, halfway through the episode, it sounded like you moved rooms or something.
I did, because my iPad was dying, and I had no choice.
Don't ever do that again. Don't ever do that again.
It was really bad. I felt horrible listening to it.
Yeah, I think as soon as you moved rooms, that's when the audio got all messed up, too.
I think so, too, which is so weird. Why would that change anything?
Yeah.
I don't even know. But you did a great job, Kayla, so very proud of you.
Thanks.
It was a really good episode on your part. And then again, continued shout out to Penelope for being very supportive on our Instagram. It is very much appreciated. We love you. Write more Earthsinger Chronicles until the end of your days.
There's a bunch of novellas that we need to read at some point.
I know, I ordered them.
We'll probably read the novellas when we get around to book 4.
Yes, good idea.
Okay, I'm gonna crack open my room temperature Diet Pepsi.
Ooh, made us wait on that one. Delayed gratification. Also about next week, so many sirens. Why are there so many hooligans and people who need assistance in Des Moines right now?
I don't know.
It was, I was cringing the entire time I was listening to the episode. Okay. Anyway, the first read, this one. However, I had a couple false starts. I started reading it, and then I started listening to the audiobook, and then I went back and read those chapters because I felt like I wasn't listening. So, part of the reason this podcast is a week late. Anyway. Nostalgia factor? You got anything?
Not really. This one felt way more fantasy, I don't want to say more
fantastical.
Fantasy. Yeah, because book 1 had a lot more technology in it than this one did.
Yeah,
this one
I
they still had radios and electricity and cars and stuff, but not really anybody else. And I really just
learning about the magic and
mm-hmm. And then
the social structures of Lagermar.
Yeah, social structures. Yeah.
That was, it was very cool. I said that it kind of made me nostalgic for watching Game of Thrones the first time, the first few seasons. Just because, with the last book, I didn't get, the switching of perspectives, because I read the original one. And so this time when I was getting, the different perspectives and, jumping back and forth and everyone's going on these grand adventures, I was like, I'm here for this. I am here for this. I will literally never stop talking about these books. Okay, so what happened here? Let's do it. Prologue. The earth holds its breath as the young queen falls to the ground. The jeweled handle of her betrayer's dagger protrudes from her side. The valley shudders as a great swell of earth song is pulled from the source. The spell is cast, the barrier erected, unseen by any eye but felt by all. The mantle. So, that's where we're starting. This time the quotes before each chapter are poems from the Book of Unveiling.
Yeah.
Which we will learn about, kind of.
Yeah, I also enjoyed how it kind of clarified one of the things we were what was I speculating upon last book about like the spider and jackal and stuff like that. This book actually cleared up what that was about, which we can talk about later in like Night of the Living Author.
Okay, cool, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we start 2.5 weeks before the fall of the mantle. So I love that. We get a different perspective of a thing we already learned about, which is one of my favorite things. Okay. Kyara ul Lagrimar is the poison flame, the true father's best assassin. She was born in the king's harem and trained by Ydaris the cantor to use her gift and curse of Nethersong. Nethersong, here's a little explanation. Just as all life carried energy, Earthsong, so did death. And while an Earthsinger may grow crops from seeds or feel the pulse of life moving in the plants and the animals around them, Kyara did the opposite. So basically, the opposite of Nethersong, and it's such a cool concept. Are you kidding? What is this? Why is this not Okay, anyway. Kyara is usually sent to kill payrollers after the true father gets tired of them, and payrollers are basically just like men who work their way up the ladder by snitching on other people. So, she's sent to kill this guy, and I have a little bit of a quote, but I'm trying to pare it down a little bit. So, she floods the man with Earthsong, turning his light, the nether is like a light to her, so she turns his light from bright to blinding. He clutched a hand to his chest and gasped. The nether song within him grew, rapidly increasing the damage to his body, accelerating whatever ailments or diseases he already harbored. What would have taken months on its own, Kyara forced to occur within seconds. Which I thought was helpful to understand, because before I was kind of like, okay, what does that mean? So basically she just like speeds up aging, I guess, or like just not aging, but like whatever is wrong with them, speeds it up until it kills them. So
yeah, well, kind of that, and then also because they're not like withered and sucked of their souls, like kind of how like all of us have the potential to die at any moment, so it's taking that potential and boosting it to 100.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Like right now I had the potential to choke on this hard candy in my mouth. Am I going to? The stakes are low.
Right, or I could get diabetes. The stakes are high. I could die. It could happen right now if Kyara made it happen. I'm just kidding.
Out of the two of us, the one the most likely to get diabetes first is in fact me, so.
Well, my grandma has it and I'm freaked out. Anyway.
I weigh twice your body weight, Hales. Don't gotta worry about it.
I'm still worried. So the payroller's wife still believes in the 9 houses of their ancestors, even though it's pretty out of fashion for the elite. And Kyara steals an interesting book from their collection. It's called The Book of Unveiling, and its first line is, "Keep the secrets, spread the lies, remember the truths." And so this gives Kyara a weird vibe, so she takes it to investigate. And it reignites her hope that one day she can get rid of her deadly song.
Yeah.
One of the payroller's daughters sees all this happen and asks Kyara if she really is the poison flame, and Kyara says, "Yes, but if you're good, you'll never see me again." Which is just, it kind of reminds me of when Kaz broke into that lawyer's house and the daughter found him. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm the big bad man, so you better go to sleep or I'm gonna kill you."
God, I know. And then also this girl,
Ulani, and she races to her sister Tana, who is trapped literally locked in a closet for some reason, and they just immediately start packing to run the hell away, and but Ulani hopes that she does see Kyara again someday. Darvyn, the Shadow Fox, and a Keeper of the Promise, we know him, we're friends, is watching over our boy Jack, training with the soldiers. Jack's been undercover for about a week now, and we find out that the Elder Keepers are not stoked about this mission. Did not want this to happen. But I'm pretty sure they let it slide because they know that they're going to start heading into Elsira before the next breach, so, like, it could be a good thing to have, you know, Jack on their side. So, Darvyn is with a small group of keepers, Agar and Meldy, who have known Darvyn his whole life. Lizana, a warrior, still has her song. Navarre, rescued from the Whalers, which are, like, an insane group in the army, and so he also has his song still. The Keepers are making plans to start taking people over the border to Elsira, which isn't, like, a unanimous decision. Like, not everybody's on board, but they know it's the only way that they can, like, get to the Queen and get further instructions from her. Hanko, an elder and the grandfather of Meldy, has an additional mission for Darvyn, Agar, Lizana, and Navarre, and Meldy isn't needed for this because she has lasting injuries from a fire from when she was little that Darvyn cannot heal. She's pretty upset that she can't join, and I assume that she isn't needed for a lot of missions, which would probably, you know, get you down after a while, I can imagine.
Yeah, I guess.
So Hanko tells them that a group of nabbers, which is exactly what they sound like.
Like, somehow I missed the explanation of what the nabbers were, and I was like, who are these people? Oh, they're human traffickers.
Yeah.
They're human traffickers.
I love that the nabbers are just always the nabbers, and they nab people, and the children are the nabbed, and then, like, the cars are always just diesel contraptions every single time. They're never anything else.
Yeah, the nabbers really remind. Oh, what were they called in His Dark Materials? The children stealers.
Oh, shit! I don't remember.
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't know.
That is kind of what they were like, though.
Yeah, I'll look it up. Children stealers.
Children stealers. His Dark Materials.
His Dark Materials is literally what I was Googling.
I honestly kind of feel like they were called
the Gobblers. The
Gobblers.
For the GOB. The General Oblation Board. The Gobblers. Okay, continue with the nabbers.
So a group of them were spotted, and the Keepers need to find a way to apprehend them and rescue the children. But Darvyn isn't keen on this because he just got a message about a possible sighting of his mother, who he's been searching for 20 years. And then Hanko basically guilts him into going on the mission instead. The Shadow Fox cannot be everywhere. Darvyn crosses his arms, and so he should be at checkpoint 17, where the need is smallest. Or will he rise to the task at hand, defending young ones from tribute and lives of toil and slavery? Hanko lifted a shoulder. You are your own man. I cannot tell you what to do, but our people suffer every day under the thumb of the immortal king. Our lives are spent in service not to ourselves, but to others. Many have sacrificed so that you may stand here today to make this choice. The old man bowed his head and walked away. Darvyn rubbed the back of his neck, squeezing it tight enough to crack his knuckles. The metal of the pendant now felt cool, just like his hopes of finding the woman who had given it to him. Sad. So, like, I always write the notes after I read it, so, like, I already know everyone's motivations, but, like, it's so obvious how Hanko and the other keepers, like, manipulate Darvyn, and yes, he is doing good things, but, like, what would he have chosen if it was his choice, you know?
Yeah, he's just a foot soldier in a war he didn't consent to being part of.
Exactly. And it comes up with the queen a lot, too. So... Tara Zeli is the personal maid for the daughter of the Magister of Lower Falagal, or Lake Town to the common folk. Mm-hmm. The Magister is basically like a junior true father. Like, he rules over the land, he has the Ephors, which are favored and help him rule. Lower Falagall and Upper Falagall have like a strained relationship, despite them both being literally the nicest places to live in all of Lagrimar.
Yeah.
Like, they can't just accept that. Like, they have to be better than each other.
Yeah.
Ugh.
The magistrate is basically just a feudal lord. That's basically all he is.
Basically. So the magistrate's daughter, Devana, she's a bit naive, maybe? Overzealous?
That's a word.
And she insists that Zeli accompany her to an Avenid revival led by the Guru Waganedri.
Why?
And Zeli is not keen on going because it's literally just a bad idea. Like, don't go. It's a bad idea. But then Devana, this really bugs me. But why don't you ask Kira Medeni? Devana sighed wistfully. Kira Medeni cannot know. Kareem Medeni, sorry, I'm saying his name wrong. Promise you won't tell him. He doesn't think much of the Avenids, and has never said a kind word about the Guru. Zeli had a feeling that Devana's fiancé would not be left in the dark for long, but she kept the thought to herself. I still think Zeli Denelli. Devana's voice hardened and her eyes turned flinty as she made their difference in rank clear by her choice of suffix. Zeli lowered her eyes. That just made me so mad. For some reason. Like, you're really gonna be like, call her Zeli Denny all the time, like, act like she's your friend, and then say that? Ugh, this really bothered me.
I'm glad she's a minor character.
I know, she's just...
minor screen time.
She's, she's kind of a fun character, but she definitely is very frustrating.
Like, such the heiress.
I know. So, Zeli promises to go and not tell anyone, not even Kareem. But unfortunately, when she goes to buy tickets for the public coach, Kareem spots her. And then I had a quote, but it's basically, he also calls her Zeli Denny instead of Zeli Denelli because he, wants her...
We're not gonna get into Kareem's motivations.
But he uses the familiar suffix instead of the formal suffix. That's all you need to know.
I guess a good example would be what would... Oh, and in Japanese, the suffixes, instead of using san, he's using chan. I think that'd be the best way to explain it.
Okay. I really like the whole suffix of situation of High Lagrimari, but
yeah.
Anyway. So Kareem immediately knows what's going on because he's like, okay, Devana sent you here. I know what's going on. I know about the revival. And he knows that he's not going to stop them, so he just decides to go with them. And Zeli is now nervous and excited because obviously she's desperately in love with Kareem. And Zeli has a deep desire to become one of the favored, by hopefully finding a nice man that fancies her and marrying him so that she can be one of the favored. And, oh, honey, you got a big storm coming.
God.
So, Kyara is attempting to read her stolen book when she receives a call from Yadaris through a speaking stone. On her way to the Cantor, she sees the True Father and his entourage and says that even just his presence is, oppressive, and I hate this man.
God, and also she's just that's my dad! Boop, 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 boop.
That's my dad. Just girly things.
God.
My dad is so weird.
Just girly things. My dad's an immortal dictator.
Oh, God.
And because I was born a girl, I was treated like a fourth-class citizen.
Basically. We never even learn what happens to the other girls born in the harem.
I think we're supposed to just assume they become, the servants who do not speak in the castle.
Okay.
In the castle? It's a palace. Let's be honest. It's not a castle.
Palace. It's not a castle. So, the Cantor, yes, she's horrible, but I kind of like her.
Okay, I couldn't get, a grip on, what kind of lady she was supposed to be.
I think, well, you listened to the audiobook. Didn't you
it was like a very prim and proper voice for her.
I know, she was just like a crazy old aunt who, like, you don't know what the fuck she's thinking.
But then, like, when I was, like, reading the descriptions of her, I was just like, no, this is, like, a very scary, beautiful, like, Charlize Theron. No, Charlize Theron's white. Like, a scary, beautiful, Viola Davis type character.
I have the perfect fan cast for her, and you're gonna be like, yes, exactly.
Who?
I'll send it to you later.
Oh. Not Viola Davis, because I feel like Viola Davis would kill it.
Not her, no. She doesn't have that spark. She needs a spark.
Did you just say Viola Davis? Oscar-winning
No, like
Viola
a quirky
Davis.
Spark. Like a crazy kind of spark. You know what I mean? Like,
are you
crazy
saying
look in her eye?
Viola Davis doesn't have that?
I'm not saying anything about Viola Davis. I'm saying the woman I have in mind is absolutely perfect for it.
Okay, let's move on. We gotta move on.
So, Kyara's new assignment is to find and retrieve the Shadow Fox. And they know where he's going to be because of a possible informant with the Keepers.
Don't like that.
Many a song had been written of the exploits of the Shadow Fox, altering the weather, transforming desiccated soil into lush farmland. To hear some tell it, he could practically raise the dead, and the True Father had been after him for decades. And so the True Father was originally like trying to catch him and drain his song because it's so powerful, but then he just was like, I'm gonna kill him, but then now he's back to wanting to capture him for a song.
Yeah.
And so Kyara is the only one who can go because the Shadow Fox won't be able to tell her intent with Earthsong, because guess what? Earthsong can't be used on Nether Singers, and Kyara had no idea. Literally, she's 21 years old and had no idea.
Okay, first of all, you gotta think about how many Earthsingers there actually are in this country.
True. Mm-hmm. You're right, I just love this quote. But why did you not tell me before? Why should we have? It was irrelevant until now. What difference could it possibly have made? Eudoris's bafflement seemed genuine. Kyara's mouth opened, but nothing came out.
She's valid.
And then to make matters worse, a group of golden flames, like special ops, I don't know, are going with her, and their leader, Aaron, a real piece of shit.
Ugh. But you know what else about Aaron Haley?
Little penis.
For some reason, Kyara fucked him like 3 weeks earlier and was like, no, I don't like that. This may have been the only time I've had sex, but I know he's not doing it right.
But I know that's not what it's supposed to be. And also, when Kyara was little, the Cantor put a blood spell on her, and it's like this gaping wound in her chest, and it makes it so that Kyara has to obey, or like she dies, basically. And one of those commands was to never hurt one of the golden flames for any reason, not even self-defense.
Yeah, it's like
you fucking hate to see it.
It's like the Ella Enchanted curse, but like on steroids.
What was that?
Obedience.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So, Darvyn and crew are in a mid-country bar where they've tracked the nabbers to, and basically, we already said it, they sell children to the black market. Literally want to be sick, it's disgusting. Mm-hmm. Because payrollers will, like, try to mimic the True Father's harems.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving on. Anyway, Zango, a longtime friend of Darvyn, and Farron, a young boy who still has the song, have joined the crew. A griot enters the bar, and a young girl, wonder who that could be, pays him to sing a song about the Mistress of Serpents. So he tells a story of how the Master of Spiders lost all his money, and when he asked his sister, Master of Spiders lost all his money, and then asked his sister, the Mistress of Serpents, And she would not share because he had already squandered all of his money. And so he planned to steal it and leave it for his children. Okay. And he was caught, and then his son and daughter, in their horrible shame, decided that their house would end with them. They said, our father's such a piece of shit, we will die, and this line will die with us.
And also the fact that this is supposed to be, like, a weird, like, retelling of Ula and Iro.
I know. Where are the similarities? I do not see them. But then, Darvyn is kind of, like, surprised that he would tell that because the true father himself is now the master of spiders. He was the son in the story. Yeah. And all the Ulnedrim and Ulnedrim, aka sons and daughters of the harems, are descendants of this house. Yeah. And Darvyn knows that the men born from the harems are sterile, and he has never met an Ulnedrim. Doesn't even know if they exist. So he's like, at least the line doesn't carry on. Anyway, Darvyn is intrigued by the girl who asked for the song, but just then a fight breaks out between the nabbers and everyone leaves the pub. Darvyn and Zango hang tight and they knock the nabbers out after everyone leaves so that they can watch them to lead them to the warehouse. Mm-hmm. And then Kyara hustles after the griot and asks him about a house of scorpions because she read it in her book and she's like, I've never heard of the scorpions. And he's like, that's not supposed to exist. However, my great-grandfather once knew a man who spoke of the scorpion and said that the scorpion would bring light to a dark world. And Kyara's like, didn't really help me much, but thank you. You're a great old man. Thank you very much. And so then, Aaron, the piece of shit, comes up to give Kyara the collar for when she catches the shadow fox, which will, like, incapacitate his song. And Aaron wants to talk about them getting back together again. And she refuses, obviously, because he's horrible. And he's super aggressive, and he basically just wants to be with her because he thinks that the true father favors her, which is not the case. And then he realizes that the keepers are nearby and is like, oh, they can't know that you're with me because you're with us because you're undercover. Starts beating the shit out of her.
I know. Ridiculous.
Ugh, it's so fucked up. And she just has to take it because she can't retaliate. And then suddenly, everything goes dark. And then suddenly, Farron is there helping her up. And she's like, it's time for fucking bed. I am done. Mm-hmm. Zeli is trying to... Zeli is trying to calm Devana down because the Magister is hosting a dinner party the night before they're supposed to leave, and Devana is just freaking out. And so we see the Magister for the first time. He's a big old boy. He was a soldier, has a wicked scar that supposedly an Earthsinger didn't heal. So he hates Earthsingers and makes all his staff give tribute as soon as possible. Zeli herself traveled all the way to the capital when she was 7. By herself to give tribute. This is horrific.
Okay, I have some problems. One, she's 7 when she does this, but then later on she's like, legally you're not supposed to do it till you're 14. Like, what? What is it gonna be?
She's not, but when she was little, she had nothing left, and so she was like, the Magister doesn't want me to have my song, I'm gonna go give my song. Yeah. And of course the true father is not gonna be like, you're too young, get out, I don't want your song yet. So, and she says that she still misses her song sometimes. Mm-hmm. Zeli also idolizes Yelissa, who helped her after her parents died, and Yelissa is also like a maid, and after the death of the Magister's wife, caught the eye of the Magister and became his mistress. And so she has all these nice things, it gets to do nice stuff, and it's everything that Zeli wants. And Ylissa's like really nice. I feel like that made her sound kind of shallow, but she's not. Yelissa sees Zeli eyeing Kareem and is like, honey, you're being so obvious. You need to knock it off. And Zeli's super embarrassed. So then it turns out that the Magister hosted the party to make an example of one of the... I don't remember if it's an E4 or if it's just, like, one of the favored. He has been caught hoarding food.
He, like, runs the mines, I want to say?
No, I thought he was, like, a craftsman.
He did something.
Yeah. I think he is one of the people that, like, worked his way up, but then he was caught hoarding food and gets dragged away by guards, and Zeli's like, maybe being favored isn't the shit, after all.
No.
Darvyn is trying to get info about Kyara from Farron, but he didn't really find anything out. They just kind of exchanged names, and she went on her way. And it turns out that it was Darvyn who made, like, everything dark the night before when Kyara lost her sight. We knew that. And he ended up blowing all the golden flames down the entire street. Because he saw Aaron beating the shit out of Kyara. So, he's getting antsy because they've just been staking out the nabbers and doesn't think that Agar even has a plan. And then, out of nowhere, Kyara comes up, talks to the nabber, who turns her away, and she's about to light the building on fire. So Darvyn and Farron, I think, like, rush up on her and stop her.
Well, what's her goal with lighting the building on fire?
I really don't know. I've read this chapter probably 5 times now and still can't quite figure it out.
Was she just like, fuck this guy?
I don't know. I don't know if she was like, thought that he would eventually... Oh, maybe she thought if she lit it on fire, she would figure out who the Shadow Fox is because he would come and put it out and be like, super powerful Earthsinger man.
I guess.
Anyway, so Darvyn takes Kyara away from the warehouse on horseback, might I add, and the sexual tension between these two already through the roof.
Hi.
And he is like, demands to know who she is and why the fuck she's about to light the place on fire, and she's trying to gain their trust, so she says that her sister was taken and she tried to buy her back, and they wouldn't, so she was gonna light the building on fire to draw them out. Which later we find out the children were chained up, so they would have died, in fact. Anyway, Darvyn is like, that's a horrible plan, and she's like, at least I had a plan, you guys are sitting on your asses. And so they think, maybe we can work together, and Kyara thinks Darvyn can lead her to the Shadow Fox, since it's obviously not him. Because he's too young. He. Agar is pissed about Kyara helping since she isn't one of them. But she doesn't take his shit, and Darvyn is just like, I already have a boner, and I am already in love with this woman. So Kyara just takes off on her own and is like, get the wagons ready, and marches into the warehouse. And then we get Ulani, little baby Ulani, and Tana. They're in that warehouse. And turns out right before they were going to run away, their stepmother forced them to come with her, and then as soon as they were out of town, she sold them to the nabbers. What a despicable woman. And then she...
I loved her 2 different turns of phrases. Me, what a bitch. You, what a despicable woman.
Oh, man. So Ulani hears the nabbers starting to throw up, and then Kyara bursts in. Side note, I forgot to say earlier, when Kyara uses only a little nether song, people don't die, they just start puking, and they get real sick. Obviously, Ulani recognizes her, and now thinks that the poison flame is a spy for the Keepers, and not actually working for the true father. But Tana, still not convinced that it is even her that is there saving them. And then there's this line of Ulani thinking that she's seen Darvyn before or met him before, which I don't understand, but I think will probably definitely be important later. Thought I would note it here. Kyara says that her sister isn't with the children, and Darvyn's really sad for her, and she's like, I feel bad, but she's got a mission, you know? No one knows, like, how she knocked the nabbers out, and thinks... So she says she blew poison in their face. Agar's still pissed, even though they won, they got away, they did it. But he's, like, super suspicious because he didn't know that Kyara had her song. And he thinks that Kiara's lying. Obviously, all that stuff. But Kyara said that she was a courier and that she has a courier's license. And so, in the end, Agar agrees so that they can use her license and, like, make it easier to travel. And then, in the cramped public coach, Zeli remembers being shocked when she first made her journey to give tribute. When she saw just the state of things, the state of affairs outside of Lower Falagal. Because Lower Falagal, rich, lush. Outside, desolate. People living in squalor. It's sad, because they're, like, living out right outside the gates, hoping to one day live inside. It's horrendous. Devana will not stop complaining about the ride. But Zeli is like, at least my knee keeps bumping into Kareem's. She got it bagged. When they make a stop, a payroller is gonna get on and needs a seat, and Devana is pissed. She's like, why does Zeli have to sit on the top? Never thinking for once maybe she would sit on top. No. And then Kareem offers to go instead of Zeli, but we also know that ain't happening. So Zeli is sitting on the roof of a coach. There's an older couple there talking about the keepers, how they're taking people across the mantle, but Zeli doesn't have much faith in that, the success of that, because her parents had been outed as keepers and executed. So she's a little bitter about that, understandably so. She thinks that, or she knows that whoever outed them is, like, living the high life at this point, which is disgusting.
Oh, I just figured something out.
What?
Continue on. We'll come back to it. We'll come back around to it.
And there's another little girl on the roof just by herself, and Zeli remembers being, like, that sad, alone little girl, and so she shares her food with her. It's sweet. Kyara is riding with Darvyn on his wagon, and she doesn't know where they're going, and she says when she knocked out the nabbers, it was, like, the most precision she's ever used, because she, like, focused on a little snake in the corner. She killed the snake, and so then just everybody else around her got sick. And basically she is not very good at controlling her song at all. She thinks the keepers are delusional, but can't deny that they help people. She thinks Lizana might be the Shadow Fox because Darvyn would have been a toddler when the stories of the Shadow Fox started. She hates the idea that she will be the one to take down the greatest symbol of revolution and hope that the people have. So she and Darv are sent for shoes for the kids, and then she sees someone that she recognizes and has a full-on panic attack. Darvyn, extremely concerned, and she tells him it was this physician named Rayal who made promises to cure people, but instead a bunch of people died, like, a week later after he gave them medicine, and one of those people that died was a woman that she was staying with, a very nice woman. And then she sees Rayal sell a human bone-handled knife to the market's cutler, and she swears one day she will find him and kill him. When Darvyn gets back from buying the shoes, he's relieved that Kyara's still there, just in general. And then back at the wagon, he gets a message from the keepers that the well at the school that they run has run dry and he needs to go fix it. Plus, he needs to get back to Jack soon and get him safely out of literal enemy territory. Agar says no, it's an order from a superior. And basically, Agar thinks that those kids can die. Clearly hates those kids. I'm just kidding. Darvyn is mad, but he really can't do anything, so they're back on the road. And then, all of a sudden, they're attacked by very well-kempt bush wranglers, aka the Golden Flames. And Darvyn quickly takes care of them, but Kyara gets shot. Yikes. I feel like it was so casual. Like, I didn't even remember reading that guns went off, and then all of a sudden, Kyara shot. So, Zeli, Devana, and Kareem finally arrive in Checkpoint 11 for the Avenid revival. And basically, the Avenids believe in the void, like a place between life and death, and that's where, like, true heaven basically lies, and it's all very weird, and...
They're in a death cult.
They're in a death cult, for sure.
They're in a death cult. I'm not surprised if it's like a sex death cult either. These people literally preach about how we should all just die, and then they make a pilgrimage to this city that no one knows if it exists or not, and they all just kill themselves along the way.
Well, no, they walk to a desert and they burn alive.
Yeah. They kill themselves.
It's kind of insane. That is, like, literally their end goal. And that's probably why the true follower doesn't care that they exist, because they just kill themselves.
And this is the little cult
I just realized that.
Devana wants to join.
Yeah. She is, like, taken, just fully enraptured by this guru. And Zeli and Kareem are like, what the fuck is going on? People act like they're literally in a trance. And then Devana asks Zeli to go fill her canteen. She literally just holds it up in the air in the middle of this event. And Zeli rushes off to fill it and, like, is thankful that she doesn't have to sit through that anymore. And while she's gone, she thinks that this boy is flirting with her. But in reality, he wants to kidnap her. They literally knock her out in the middle of a crowd and put her in a sack. What are these people doing? I have a feeling that the Avenids have some kind of magic, I feel.
Well, because we learn later on that the void is like an actual thing.
Right. So maybe they use that somehow. I don't know. I'm sure we'll learn. So, back at Darvyn. Darvyn thinks that he can't sense Kyara with Earthsong because she has a really powerful shield. But he has no way of knowing that if her song will heal her bullet wound, and she's passed the fuck out. And so then he sees all the cuts that we know are from Ydaris using her for blood magic on her body, plus the deep wound of the binding blood spell. And so he's like, if she had a song, she would have healed these. And so he doesn't know, or he thinks that she doesn't have a song, but doesn't understand why he can't read her. And so he's just flooding her body with Earth Song, hoping that her natural healing will take over. And she still doesn't understand, or he doesn't understand how she can shield with no song. He just has absolutely no idea. So, keeping that up is wearing him out with all the other spells that he's maintaining. And so he needs to go do the Jack stuff and the school stuff. So he steals one of the Golden Flames desert crawlers, ties Kyara to him, and takes off. Farron is sad to see him go. Poor Farron. When Kyara wakes up, she assumes Darvyn's gonna kill her, but she's like, you know what, alright, fine. But then he actually obviously brought her to keep her alive, and they're definitely vibing, but they're both definitely denying it. And Darvyn keeps asking why she hasn't thought about joining the Keepers, and she thinks it's pointless. I have a quote. Chip away enough, and he'll feel it. When I'm gone, someone else will grab my pick. Her anger dissipated. You have a purpose. Maybe that's enough. Everyone needs a purpose. We all have our life's work, do we? Perhaps you are not meant to be a courier. Perhaps your life work still remains to be discovered. A pained smile tugged at her lips. She considered her actual life's work. Dealing death. Life's work is living until the end, nothing more. Ah, so you're an Avenid. And she says, I don't worship the void like the Avenids, but I certainly understand the desire. It's easier to believe that all of this is for nothing than to try to assign some significance to the details of our lives. You Keepers worship some sleeping queen who is supposed to awaken and save us from the true father. 500 years is a pretty long nap. And those who follow the ancestors believe our long-dead foremothers will offer some comfort, that their animal spirits hold answers to life's mysteries. I've never seen a sleeping queen or a talking serpent. I am very familiar with the void, however. Those dark eyes penetrated her skin and filled her with a warm longing that gnawed at her insides. You are a very interesting woman, Kyara. So they're vibing. They're getting to know each other.
Vibe City.
Kiara's like, what's the point? And Darvyn's like, I like you. That's pretty much what happened. So Kyara likes tinkering with things in her off time, so she knows how to fix the overheated crawler, and then they're off again. And Kyara hopes that she'll never have to complete her mission. Ulani is visited by Ula in a dream, and Ula says that her and Tana need to stick together. And then she's awake. Kyara and Darvyn arrive at the school. It's in the middle of nowhere, and a little girl named Eleanor asks to braid her hair. And so, after a trip to the kitchen where a rail-thin man pressed a bowl of sweet-smelling porridge and a warm bun into her hands, the deadliest assassin in Lagrimar found herself sitting on the floor having her hair braided by a 6-year-old girl sitting on a stack of cushions. I just thought that was so sweet. I thought it was so sweet how she's the deadliest assassin. Anyway. The school reminds Kyara of when she would peek in on the classrooms at the palace, though she wasn't allowed to go, being a daughter of the harem. But she had a friend named Ulani, who was one of those palace girls who actually had rights. And Kyara knows that she would have loved to keep her school. And we get the vibe that Kyara killed Ulani, assumedly by accident, but we're not sure.
Not told why yet.
So the school makes Kyara happy and sad, seeing so much joy, and she's a little jealous too because she was never taught to use her song like the children here are. Darvyn joins them, and I've got a long quote, but I think it's super important, so I hope you will bear with me. I wonder what will happen when he's no longer around, Kyara wondered. Said Darvyn. The Shadow Fox. He travels the country, bringing food to the hungry, healing the sick in secret, but he, or she, can't live forever. What will these people do then? It isn't like he can teach anyone how to do his miracles. I think miracle is a strong word. He, Darvyn gave her a sly look, or she, is just a powerful Earthsinger. There's nothing miraculous about that. A morsel of food is miraculous to a starving man. And besides that, what must it be like to know that some of the very people you are trying to save would just as soon report on you to the true father? Darvyn shifted beside her, appearing uncomfortable. If I were him, I think I would feel sorry for them. Kyara snorted. If you were him, you'd likely wish Earthsong could kill. Informers are the lowest form of humanity. They are little better than roaches, feeding from the trash. If they are not forced to it, if there is no knife to their throat as they spill their secrets, then they don't deserve any pity. And if there is a knife to their throat, if informing is the only way to keep themselves alive, what then, Kyara? His eyes glittered with challenge. She met his stare head on. Is their measly life worth more than someone who has saved so many others? Even if it were a knife to their throat of their child, unless that child could sting a crop of beans into existence, of what use are they? They are just another potential betrayer. Never trust a cockroach, Darvyn. Eleanor gave a little tug, and Kyara faced forward again so the girl could continue. Kyara wished she had never seen any of this. The simple joy of children laughing and learning in freedom. This was a fantasy, one that would soon be brought to an end by her own hand. That's a lot. That's a lot of shit to think of. Like, I think just seeing their differences in mindsets is really telling about who they both are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then also, it just also brings, like, this moral question forward, where this could even be the theme of the whole book, of, like, what you do to survive, is it good enough? Is betraying another good enough for your own survival?
Right.
Like, where do you draw the line between life and death, between your life and someone else's death? Like, moral questions.
Yeah, I think Darvyn sees the people who are forced to rat on other people just to survive, and I think Kyara sees the payrollers only. The people who, like, purposely rat on people, who seek people out to snitch on just so they can climb higher. And I just think it's really interesting because they come from very different backgrounds, and you can tell, obviously.
Yeah.
Alright. So, Zeli wakes up in a warehouse with a bunch of other children. Guess who's there?
Ulani
And
and Tana.
Tana. They were recaptured.
God.
They're fucking luck. Zeli is like trying to cheer them up, like all the kids up, and she tells them of Lake Town, aka Lower Falagal, and that she's going back. But Tana is very pessimistic. She tells everyone that they're from Windy Hill, which is a rich part of Saya, but that their father was killed, and Ulani tells them her theory that the poison flame is a spy. After the keepers rescued them, their caravan was attacked and they were nabbed again. Tana says, no one's coming for us this time. Sad.
Also, why is Ulani just out here saying shit that she doesn't know anything about?
She just says what's on her mind. I love Ulani. She's the fucking best.
She is, in fact, 7, but...
But you would think that she would know, maybe don't talk about that, but it's fine. It all turns out all right in the end. So Darvyn, while at the school, has been ignoring the telegrams from Agar, and when he finally reads them, finds out about the ambush and the children being recaptured. Agar blames him, and he definitely blames himself. He's just absolutely devastated by this. Kyara reminds him that he can't be in 2 places at once, and the work he did at the school was important too, and her support helps him, but he thinks that she would likely understand the position he's in and like all the responsibility he has, but of course he can't tell her about that. They both find strength in each other and it's magical, and they almost kiss, but they're interrupted. So Darvyn heads off to finish up work so that they can leave, and she's just poking around with her nether song, looking around the area, and is shocked that it's so full of life, aka not nether song, in the middle of this fucking desert. And so she looks around the building and sees fields on fields of food. And I have another quote. Darvyn stood in the midst of the wheat, a few hundred paces away. Kyara closed her eyes and sank back into the embrace of Nethersong, seeing it all in reverse. The fertilized soil glowed dully with the presence of decayed life, but mostly the green and beautiful field was shadowed to her inner eye. She refocused on the visual before her, then sank back into her other sight. Darvyn was clearly standing there, but no corresponding column of light appeared in her view. She strained to find him, and finally was able to sense the tiniest flicker. He had little more Nethersong than an infant. Ah, shit. So, Kyara knows only the Shadow Fox with such a strong Earth Song would have that little Nethersong. And so she knows that it's him, and the blood spell is like, okay, now you have to capture him. Ay, ay, ay. So,
and I just have a question. Why did it take her this long to suss him out? Like,
I really don't know. I mean, she's been hearing about him for her entire life, and Darvyn is literally only like 5 years older than her. So
yeah. Little does she know he started fucking around at like age 2.
Yeah, was born the Shadow Fox.
Yeah.
So Zeli continues to try to cheer the girls up, and then they're washed and clothed, and then basically put up for auction.
Ooh.
Ugh. There's payrollers there to examine them, and one man in particular is creepy as fuck.
We don't have to get into detail to this. Just speed past everything that occurs in the human trafficking scene to what happens next.
Yeah, so Zeli is indentured to Aura, a lady payroller, and talks them into also getting Ulani and Tana.
Yeah.
Saved from the bad man. Okay.
Yeah.
Kyara knows that she can't fight the blood spell, and when Darvyn walks over, she whispers. She says, I used to wish for a different life. Her ragged tone almost obscene paired with the laughter of the many children just outside. If I had any other choice, I would make it. I am so sorry, Darvyn. Tears that hadn't made themselves known in years welled in her eyes, but they had forgotten to fall. So Darvyn has so little death energy in him that she has to literally pull nether from a nearby dead plant and push it into him, so then she can then manipulate the nether inside of him, because he has so little she can't even do anything with it. And so Darvyn finally passes out, but his Earth Song continues to fight her, and she goes to put the collar on him, and then sees the pendant that Darvyn's wearing.
Oh no.
The collar fell from her fingertips, freeing them to pull at the cord until she could better see the pendant. Half a pendant, actually. The image of a jackal crudely emblazoned into the metal. Its legs were chaotic, mismatched, and pointed in the wrong direction. The broken edge of the metal had worn smooth with time. A curse escaped her lips. So she's freaking out. And the blood spell's getting more painful. And she unties the other half of the pendant that she's been wearing for 2 decades. Or no, 1 decade. And leaves it for Darvyn as, make sure he has this. And gets the fuck out of there. So that she doesn't have to take him. And the spell threatens to make her lose control of her song and kill everyone, and she obviously wishes that she could tell Darvyn what's up with the pendant, but she can't, and her wound is getting excruciating and will kill her soon, so she gets out of there. Anyway, when Darvyn wakes up, Asla, the woman who runs the school, is angry for Darvyn leading the poison flame there, obviously.
Understandable.
Very understandable. And he has no idea how he's even alive. He's like, if that was the poison flame, why the fuck am I alive? And then Asla shows him the pendant that Kyara left. Darvyn's breath stopped short. He plucked the necklace from Asla's grip, then his hand went immediately beneath his shirt, scrabbling to find his own matching pendant. He pressed the 2 pieces of metal together. Aside from the worn edges, they fit perfectly. An image that he'd only seen half for decades was now whole. The 2 jackals faced each other, their legs and tails intertwined. He pulled the 2 apart, and each jackal was just a head and mess of limbs. Oh my god. So Asla tells him that Kyara was in rough shape when she left, and he's like, I gotta find her. I gotta know what's going on. And he's like, she would not tell anyone about the school. I have a gut feeling that she's actually a good person. And so, Asla gives him the school swift cycle, and he's off.
Yeah.
On his way, he remembers the night that his mother gave him that half of her family crest. 20 years earlier, his mother had given him to the keepers because she knew how much danger he was in, but she promised that she would find him again. And he believed her when she said she would find him again, and he would never stop looking until he learned the truth of why she hadn't done what she'd promised. No matter what Kyara had done or why he needed to find her, he needed to hear her story. So he finds Kyara on the brink of death and has no idea how to save her. And so he calls upon the queen who sleeps, which he can just do willy-nilly. And the queen shows him Kyara's past. Little Kyara has a friend, Ulani. She sees her being attacked. And Kyara loses control of her song, kills both the attacker and Ulani. Ooh. So, and then Darvyn sees Kyara with the cantor. Okay, I just need to read this because it explains it. You thought you were born without a song, but you were wrong. You have a song. It's just different from everyone else's. The Ula of your cabal should have brought you to me when you were born, after you killed your mother. Kyara gasped. Oh, you didn't know? Well, so be it. I killed mine too. They're rather useless creatures, mothers. Darvyn's heart shredded as he watched the little girl buckle with the weight of sudden guilt and sorrow. She thought you were special, the cantor continued. Thought you were the answer to some sort of pagan prophecy. The Ula, not your mother. These superstitious heathens never cease to amaze me. Would you like to know what you are, and why your song is impossibly deadly? And so she tells her, first she inflicts the blood spell on Kyara so that she won't kill anyone else, and she'll obey the cantor. And then the queen tells Darvyn that people like Kyara are born every few generations, and in her time, they were killed at birth. And she says that they're a poison, and Darvyn should let her die. And she also says, hey, remember Jack? He lost his disguise when Kyara knocked you out. But luckily he's alive, but Darvyn is, very worried. Darvyn is getting real sick of the queen's bullshit. But she tells him that the nether song from something dead might help her. And she tells him to take her to Serpent's Gorge, which is near the Scald, where the Avenid pilgrims go to die. And so Darvyn wakes up, grabs a little lizard, and he's about to kill it and feed Kyara its nether, its death energy. But Kyara suddenly wakes up and says, please find something that's already dead. And he's like, this girl works death magic and doesn't even want me to kill a lizard. He's in deep. He's in deep. So he finds a dead snake and places it by Kyara, and then she starts breathing normally again because she loves that good death energy. So, Zeli and the girls are in checkpoint 10, and they are shown their boarding house and the munitions factory while they'll work for 12 straight hours.
Oh!
But, they get breaks, I guess. A girl named Nedra leads Zeli and Tana's group, and she's kind of a hard ass. Zeli decides she's going to make the best of it, though. They are continually reminded to be on the lookout for anyone breaking the law so that they can rat on them. Aura is an upwardly bound payroller, which means she wants to snitch on as many people as possible so that she can be more favored by the Lord Ruler. And Zeli's like, ugh, I hate that. But Tana's like, how about fucking no? She says, I'm not a snitch. Those are her words.
Snitches get stitches.
Oh, man. So, that's fucked up.
This child has a heart of gold.
Oh, man. So, on the way to Serpent's Gorge, Kyara and Darvyn are picked up by some avid pilgrims on their way to death. And while she's asleep, Kyara has a dream of Yadara's torturing her when she was little. Love that. Oh. And wakes up to find that she's using Darvyn's legs as a pillow. Cute. But Darvyn's acting a little weird. Kyara thinks the Avenids are weird, and the blood spell isn't affecting her as they get closer to the gorge, which is strange. Darvyn says the queen told him what to do, and she promises to tell him about his mother. He admits to knowing how Kyara got the spell, and she's like, don't feel sorry for me. I am not worthy of your kindness. And these two, I swear. After a break, Darvyn rides up front, and he starts asking the driver, like, why the hell are you just going to die? What is the point? And the man's like, we're not trying to die, but the void will take us when it's time.
Okay. This is a full-blown death cult. Okay, I just gotta bring this back. One, when you enter the Avenids, you change. All the women have one name. All the men have one name. That is part of joining a death cult. You abandon all sense of prior self and identity. You all dress the exact same way. You all talk the same way. You no longer have your old identity. You start doing all this weird stuff. They're in a death cult.
That's so weird. What is the draw? Like, just handing over your entire identity so you don't have to worry about it anymore?
I'm very interested in cults. I don't think I'm smart enough to outsmart a cult. So yeah.
You mean like you would be inducted into a cult and not be the wiser?
I would get sucked into the rhetoric because they don't start you off strong. They start you off little. Like Davana, she goes to one revival and then she's just like, I'm ready.
Yeah, that's true. Well, she probably has read about it and then is like, okay, they're gonna be 12 hours away, let's go. Like,
yeah, and like...
That's not a quick trip, Devana.
It's... Oh, God. Okay, continue.
Also, they wear really bright clothing, which I forgot to mention. Everyone thinks it's garish and ugly. Oh, man. Okay, so Darvyn, pretty distressed over his situation. Kyara, poison flame, but he's still drawn to her. His mother, probably dead. So that's sad, because he's held on hope for an extremely long time that he'll see her again. Oh, God, my heart hurts.
Sad boy.
They reach the gorge. Kyara is just captivated by it. The Avenids are like, the water's poisoned, so don't go in it, but we're on our way now. We're gonna go die in the desert. Peace out, here's a horse. Literally, that's the Avenids. Kyara's wounds are completely healed by the powerful Nether Song of the Gorge. And also, Darvyn says that the Nether Song here feels different. And Kyara can kind of feel it too. She says, they're in harmony. It's like they accept each other. Perhaps Earthsong has conceded control of this place. She closed her eyes. In other places, they're at odds. There's a tension that locks them in conflict. Here, that isn't the case. Which I think is very interesting and that we should probably keep in the back of our minds. Okay. And then Kyara tells the story of his mother. Okay. 10 years ago, Kyara met Neris, and they helped each other. And the town people thought that Neris was crazy, so she was an outcast and lived at the edge of the city spiral, but Kyara stayed with her and said it was the best place that she ever lived. She's out on her own, though, because Yudaris gave her, what is that, the illusion of choice? Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
To either be the king's assassin, or you can leave. And so she leaves. And when she had first left, a woman took her in, but then the husband found her, and he got mad, and Kyara got upset and lost control, and she killed both of them.
She had an oopsie poopsie, okay? Can you believe
To say the least. She's like a little girl, and she has death energy magic. What can we expect from her?
I don't know.
And so she stayed with Neris because Neris was injured, and she wanted to help her, and she couldn't live near anyone, because, you know, if worse came to worse, she would kill people, and so Neris didn't live near people, so she felt good about living there. And then Darvyn realizes he already knows what happened to his mom because Kyara already told him. The physician! It was the physician Real! He killed Darvyn's mom! Oh my god. And so then finally, Darvyn says, why did she never look for me? Did she tell you? And so her expression softened. She stood and touched his arm. He stared at her fingers on his skin for a moment before meeting her gaze. She did. She searched for you. Went from town to town, wherever she heard of the works of the keepers. She would find them and ask them about the boy she'd given up, but no one would ever tell her where he was. Then she'd stay in a place for a while. She wove baskets and sold them for money, and then be off again, always searching, always. Her fingers rose to his chest to the pendant hanging there. When I am gone to the world after, she said. Kyara's lips began to quiver. Promise me you will find him. She was sick, and she knew that she didn't have much time left. I promised I would tell you that she loved you and never forgot you, and that you brought so much light into her life, her little son. Darvyn's breath stuttered. I'm only sorry that I couldn't have kept my word sooner. She rubbed her chest again and walked away. Unable to speak, Darvyn watched her go. Boy! No. What is this? Oh, that's some sad shit right there. So, Kyara walks around for a bit, but she comes back and falls asleep. And then she's woken up by a weird vibration inside of her head and outside of her head.
What?
But being around so much Nether Song, she feels like actually powerful and happy for the first time in her life, and the effect of Yudaris' spell is non-existent. She's like, maybe I could just stay here forever. There's no food, but I'll make it work. The buzzing sound continues, so she goes to investigate. Darvyn wakes up, freaks out that Kyara's gone, so he sets off to look for her. And then, after cresting a hill, he finds a city, an entire city, made of glass structures that has been abandoned for a long time. What is this? What is this? And then he finds Kyara there in a trance, just mesmerized, and he even has to shake her to get her attention.
Just tripped out.
And apparently the voices are what drew her there, and the voices, well, the buzzing that were kind of voices that she couldn't understand, and they drew her there. And they have both heard of places like this, but they never thought that they were actually real. And apparently the, like, early Earthsingers that, like, right after the mantle, they went and, like, defected from the True Father and went and built these cool cities made of glass from the sand. And then the True Father, like, basically killed all of them, or they, like, went into hiding.
Yeah.
So they look around, they're enjoying themselves, goofing and gaffing, and Kyara's like, we can't be goofing and gaffing, you need to get the hell out of here and go into hiding. And I can't go with you because the spell will kick in as soon as I leave this place. And Darvyn's like, shut up. And then he spots a huge stone obelisk, which, he also saw one in Tanagal, where he found Kyara. I kind of forgot to mention it. It's fine. That one was white, and then this one that they see is red. It's like a big stone obelisk. And they see that...
I was like, is this the cornerstone? Where the fuck are they?
I know. I was like, how the hell did they get there? I was very confused as well. And they see that someone's been there recently, but they're gone. And when Darvyn touches the stone, he is thrown back. But not only does Kyara not notice that this happens to him, but she touches it as well. It breaks open, leaves a gaping hole, and Kyara falls into the depths. And so Darvyn jumps in after her like a gentleman would.
Yes.
And, I'm starting to think these huge stone obelisks,
don't touch
not
them.
Great. Maybe don't touch them. Not good. So, Zeli, wasting her youth toiling away in a factory, but she's pretty resigned to this fact, because she knows it could still have been far worse. Again, okay. Aura is a low-ranking payroller, and when a mercy day comes, can't wait to tell you what these are, she tells the new girls that they need to keep a keen eye for literally anyone just not enjoying their day. That's the bar. Anyone not enjoying their day, tell me, and then I will be honored for reporting them on the next mercy day. It's a lot. Tana not having it speaks out to Aura, the woman, the payroller, and then later is chastised and says, you better have some juicy gossip or you're going to the creepy guy's place. Really good. Ugh. So, Darvyn wakes up in a cave. Kyara, nowhere to be found. And worst of all, can't use his song in the caves. Great. He eventually finds a cave that leads out, except it opens up about 100 feet above the deadly river, and there's no way to climb down the sheer cliff face that he's looking at. So that's awesome. Kyara, however, gets a soft landing, and the voices are welcoming to her. They help guide her, and she uses her song to see her surroundings, aka looks for the decaying material on the caves and shit. And then she comes to this massive open cavern that glitters, and it's magical. And she looks down with her nether song and sees 5 figures radiating massive amounts of nether song. She's like, I gotta know what's going on. So she goes down there. clip-clops her way down the stairs, and she finds them sitting around a fire. And these creatures are vaguely human, but their skin is completely transparent. Ew. Gross. But also kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. I would like to see some concept art of that. Anyway, these are the people creatures that have been whispering to Kyara. And she obviously can't understand their language because they're ancient. So they give her a stone, which gives her a vision of Rael. He was the one that was camped out near the obelisk. And in the vision, he uses this old-timey, to us old-timey, probably fairly timely for them. But it's a hearing cone, that people used back in the day. And he has it spelled in some way to communicate, and he activates it with the language of blood magic. Weird. And he says that the obelisk is just a shrine. And then, I want to know if you got this at first, because I only got it on second read.
Okay.
He says, "Question the prisoners again. I have no time to chase smoke. If the father won't break, we will have to use his sons against him. They have given us nothing but lies so far. We must find the Death Stone quickly, and I am certain it is not here."
Okay, one. Did not catch any of that.
I did not catch that at all. I was like, okay, Rael's fucking crazy. Just skip on.
Obviously, you figure it out after you've read the final fucking 2 pages.
I know. But when you read back, you see all these little gems, all these little clues that she has put in here. Her mind. I cannot. Her mind. Powerful. So, then the cave people give her a caldera, which holds a memory of a man named Murmur, who is actually the man still sitting there. And the vision is hundreds of years ago, but he's telling a prophecy to his people of a future without the folk. There's 3 worlds at war, the living, the dead, and those in between. Wonder what those are. I cannot see the end of it, but our world, as we know it, will not survive. So, I'm thinking, this is my fan theory, maybe I'll save it till the end. I don't know. Do you want to hear my theory?
Yeah.
Nether Song, Earth Song, the Void. Mm-hmm. Those are the 3 worlds at battle. But I don't understand what that will look like. I don't understand. Is it going to be like a proverbial war? Like they're going to battle against each other in secret? You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway. I feel like I'm going off the rails here.
I have no answers for you.
So the vision changes and Murmur's there again, and a sorcerer, which I think is an Earthsinger, gives him a baby named Mariah, and she's also a Nethersinger, and apparently the cave folks say that the Nether Song won't hurt her, ? And the father says that if he doesn't come back, tell her of her legacy, whatever the fuck that means. And then, basically, he thinks that the Nethersingers will be the hope to win this weird war. Basically. So.
Maybe not. We don't know.
We don't know. Anyway, Murmur says that that's why Kyara's here, so that they can use her, basically, for the war. And the Death Stone that Rael is after, he's super cryptic about this, but he showed that father how to take Mariah's song, but he tested it on another baby without the baby's family's consent. And so the baby's family is mad, takes the song containing the Nether Song, takes the stone containing the Nether Song, and they are driven insane. But, apparently, powerful calderas have to be activated. And this caldera hasn't even been activated, but it's already driving people insane, so who knows what could happen if it was activated. So, the sorcerer dropped it into the ocean.
Valid.
Best course of action. But, listen to this. 2 years ago, the queen who sleeps sent a man and his twin sons after the stone.
I did not hear about that part of it.
Yep.
I was listening to the audiobook on 2.7 speed.
Oh, Jesus Christ, how'd you read? How'd you hear anything?
So I just heard she sent some dreamers after it.
Yes, a man and his twin sons.
I only know what my ADHD brain picked upon.
And Rayal apparently found them and is keeping them captive because he thinks that they found the stone at the bottom of the ocean.
Okay, hold on. What the fuck is this plotline, Penelope? Did Papa and the brothers just go off and be like, we'll be right back, Jasminda, and make her think they died in a storm? No, we're going on a boat in the ocean. What the fuck was their follow-through plan? Yes,
I think so. I think that they expected to come back with the Death Stone.
Was it only supposed to be like a hot little sexy trip? Like, Papa, what were you doing?
It was a quick vacay to the scalding sea. Or what, the searing sea, whatever the fuck it's called. And then they were captured, and Jasminda was told that they died.
Because they disappeared in the middle of a storm. What was she supposed to think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Go.
So, I'm pretty sure that Rayal and company are actually the big bad guys, but I can't be sure. We will confirm at a later date.
Based upon the summaries of the coming 2 books, they're not.
Okay, why do you have to do this?
The true father. He's still up to snuff.
Okay, fine. Anyway, Murmur and the last cave folk only have what magic the mountain provides, which they have been feeding over the centuries with sacrifice. Love that. They want to train her how to use her song so that they'll fight for her side in whatever this big war is that's coming. But she says, you know what, if you take my song, I don't care if it kills me, but then you can do whatever the fuck you want with my song. And he's like, no, we will not do that. And so he shows her Darvyn. It is like, you can use your song for much more than you thought. And you can help Darvyn. And she's like, okay, cool, let's try it. And then, this man, Murmur, pushes Darvyn into the death water.
I know! This little
like, want to see what you can do with your song? Here, save your boyfriend from the death.
This little muttering man named Murmur just shoves Darvyn into a river.
Oh my god.
Okay.
So, we will get back to that in just momentarily. Sorry. I need to line up my quotes so I'm not stuttering. So, Mercy Days. Heard about him? It's when the True Father just randomly has holidays, government holidays, so everybody gets off work, where he, gives people treats, gives them food and wine, and then executes traitors in front of everyone. I'm sorry, what?
Evo,
the manipulation. Oh my god.
This white man, he has some ideas.
God. It's just like the ultimate manipulation. But, you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
This white man has ideas. What can I say?
So, Zeli and the girls are on high alert because they're being watched to make sure that they are watching everyone else. So then Zeli sees like a telegram operator and she has the girls create a distraction but makes it sound like they're spying on the telegram messages, but really she slips in a message to Devana to please come rescue me. I don't want to work in a factory anymore. Thanks. Love, Zeli. And then during the executions, Ulani tries not to look away because that will be suspicious. So instead, she just envisions some flowers in her mind. And then when she opens her eyes, she has created that flower. And that's a big no-no, so Tana tries to hide it. But not only does Tana crush this flower, it looks like it has been dead for a while. Kyara, back to this.
Back to the Death River.
Freaking the fuck out because Darvyn has fallen into the death water. And Murmur's like, you can save him, just do it. Just save him, just do it. And she's like, I don't know how, but I'll fucking figure it out. And
I'm tired of this, Grandpa. That's too damn bad.
That's too damn bad. Siphon the nether out of him. So she starts siphoning the nether song out of Darvyn. And not only is it healing him, but it's invigorating her. So Darvyn is saved, thank God. She gets out of her nether vision and she charges on Murmur, and she is pissed. She's like, you're just like Ydaris, trying to use me for your own gain. And this man won't even lead Darvyn to her because, and I quote, shit, the mother does not welcome his kind. His kind? Earthsingers? No, we are well protected from the sorcerers. It is his father's people who will never be trusted by the mountain. Kyara had no idea who Darvyn's father was, but it was irrelevant. Who's Darvyn's father?
Because obviously, Kyara, with her evil betrayer father's allowed in the mountain.
Are you saying Darvyn's father is the true father?
No, I'm saying Kyara's father is the true father, and she's allowed in the mountain, so what the fuck is that about?
Oh, shit, right. Yeah, the true father's kind is fine, I guess.
What's up with that? Is it... I don't know. I don't know who it could be.
I don't know who it could be, and I'm freaked out about it.
We might find out later.
So, also, Mariah, remember her? She is the scorpion that we've been hearing so much about. But Kyara will not stay to learn more. And so they let her go. Okay. Ulani wakes from another dream of Ula, but can't remember what Ula told her to do. Tana is being taken to Mengu's house the next day. And so she's freaking out, and she finally remembers what Ula told her to do. Run. So she does, all by herself. However, she is only 7, so I understand, but also bad idea, Ulani. Tana wakes Zeli up when she realizes Ulani is gone, and thinks she probably ran away because of a dream. Tana knows her sister. They want to go looking, but Nedra catches them and basically says, if you're found running away, you'll be sent to a labor camp, so don't be caught. And she even, helps them by telling them that the toll booth is booby-trapped. Anyway. So she's not all bad. They head out of town on the highway, hiding whenever someone passes. Zeli really thinks that they can find Ulani and then make it back before dawn, before they're caught. Girl, I don't think so. Anyway. Suddenly, a car pulls up and stops, even though they're hidden. And Ulani is in the car. But luckily, the driver is the personal valet of Kareem. They've been saved. Apparently, Kareem, as soon as he got the message, sent someone right away. And that's excellent. So they're on their way home. The girls are coming with, obviously. And Ulani says that she could trust Fazar, the driver, because he felt like sun on your face. And Zeli feels like hugs. And Zeli did not realize that Ulani still had her song. And she's like, okay.
Okay, you weird little child.
Apparently, Tana was born without her song. Darvyn wakes up and manages to climb out of the gorge. His song is back, which is great. And then he realizes, hey, the keepers lied to me my whole damn life about my mom. And he's pretty upset about that. So he, like, lashes out with his song, makes it thunderstorm, it's raining, and then when he stops, he's so miserable he just starts laughing. Like, of course this is my fucking life. And then Kyara is there, she finds him, and he's so happy he finally kisses her. It's cute. She kisses him back, but is like, I literally tried to kill you, maybe don't kiss me. And he obviously doesn't care. And she tells him of the cave folk, and then he tells her of the queen, and the time he found the caldera, and they were caught, and some people died, and he feels guilty about it. And basically they both just bond over the fact that neither of them has any control over their lives. Love that bonding moment. Darvyn wants to go back to the keepers, and she finally tells him, hey, someone snitched on you. That's the only reason I'm here. And he's like, oh fuck, now I'm definitely going back to find out who betrayed me. And Kyara will only go with him if he promises to tie her up if the blood spell starts to make her harm him. They pull into Lake Town. Zeli realizes just how good her life has been.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit, Zeli. The entire staff, especially Glada, who I forgot to introduce later, she's just a lovely old woman who basically raised Zeli. Everybody's happy that Zeli's back and safe, and they welcome the girls with open arms. It's very cute. But then Zeli goes to find Devana, and Devana gives her a very warm welcome, but then is just, like, immediately talking about herself again.
Yeah.
And apparently Kareem, when he realized that Zeli was taken from the revival, like, organized a search group, and Devana's like, I can't believe the nerve of those people to take my maid. Like, it's literally just about Devana. Great.
And then there's this weird moment where it's like, Kareem brought me the telegram, and Zeli just like, I sent you the telegram. Why the fuck did he have it?
Why is he intercepting your messages? Maybe Kareem, not good. I don't know. Oh. Maybe. Devana, or Zeli introduces the girls to Devana, hoping they can stay, and Devana thinks they're just the most adorable things and wants to keep them as pets in her pocket. And Zeli's relieved that they don't have to leave. So at dinner that night, she sees Kareem, and he's so angry that she was taken, which I think is such a weird response. Like, does he think that... Anyway, we'll get into it later. That night, everybody's invited to play games together, and Tana's like, you like Kareem? And she's like, no, I don't. And Tana's like, that fucker's a snake in the grass. I don't trust him, and neither does Ulani. She thinks he's a rose with thorns. Big yikes. And Zeli is just, like, denying it internally. She's like, that cannot be true. Maybe, roses, the thorns can be trimmed? I don't know. Anyway. Darvyn and Kyara reach Breach Valley, but he can't sense the keepers, which is big bad. And he finally locates them and talks to Farron with Earth Song. It freaks Farron out because that is not a common thing. But they find out that the keepers have been captured by the army. So later that night, Kyara hides in the bush while he sneaks into the camp. Agar immediately goes in about Kyara. And Melody is very, very, very shocked to see Darvyn. The keepers were captured when Jack ran away because it caused a big to-do. So there were a bunch of soldiers everywhere, so they got caught. He gets everyone out. When they're almost to safety, he senses someone rushing up after him. And somehow they can, like, see through his Earth Song, which is weird. Yeah. He leads the pursuers away, and the keepers make it to safety. They're all golden flames, and they slap a collar on him. You hate to see it. Yeah. Aaron starts beating the shit out of him, and then Kyara's there, tells him to chill, pretends that she's back on their side, and he is like, why the fuck did you go AWOL? And she's like, I don't report to you. And Darvyn's like, hell yeah, I'm in a collar in a really bad situation, but that's my girl. Giving it to him. Anyway. So, I'm pretty sure the blood spell is back in full force. So, they're all on their way back to Saya. Zeli is preparing for dinner when she sees Glada taking a big basket of food from the kitchen. And she's like, what's that about? And everyone's like, mind your business, Zeli. Then Devana is like all obsessed with the fact that the Guru Wagranedri is coming to dinner and is extremely excited despite the fact that, Zeli was kidnapped from the last time she was in his presence. And I just have to read this because I hate it so much. Devana began to talk about how wonderful the event had been. Apparently, she'd been so enthralled by the lecture, she didn't even realize Zeli had been captured for quite some time. It was Kareem who'd noticed and began the search, while Devana continued to enjoy the festivities. By dinner time, Zeli had heard every detail of the revival's singing, dancing, speeches, and meditation. Devana's obsession with the Avenids and the Guru in particular was troubling, but Zeli knew not to do more than smile and nod. Okay, Devana. Great. Really good. Good friend. Yeah. There's also a griot at dinner for entertainment, and she sings about the poison flame. And Zeli finds the girls that they're spying and arguing again about Ulani's poison flame sighting. And Tana's like, oh yeah, a lady talks to you in your dreams, and you see men of light in your dreams. Sure, Ulani.
So, okay. So, this is my theory. So, the man of light, I'm pretty sure that was Darvyn.
What?
Because it's not, Darvyn didn't show up in her dreams. She met Darvyn on a Mercy Day and gave the man of light a pomegranate. I'm pretty sure that was Darvyn.
Oh.
That's my theory.
Did I miss that? I missed that.
No, it doesn't say it anywhere. But the Man of Light was because that's who the Mercy Day issue that Tana got mad about her when they were younger, because she gave a pomegranate to a man who looked like light,
yeah.
and they got in trouble. And
it's literally right here. I'm looking. You want me to read it? Let me read it.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize I fucking highlighted it. I'm an idiot. And remember when you said a man who shone with light like the sun visited you and you gave him a pomegranate we'd gotten at Mercy Day? Papa blamed me for eating it and I got whipped. You're too old to keep these stories, Ulani Yule. One day, these fanciful tales will get you into real trouble. That was probably Darvyn. Wait, why was he shining with light?
Because, remember, she can see the Earth Song in other people. Like, she can describe, like, people's generosity.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, she said, what's-his-face felt like the sun, and Zeli feels like warm hugs, and because Darvyn is just so righteous. He's a blinding man.
Oh, probably. And so, because Darvyn's mom also said that men in light would someday save the world, and then she called Darvyn her little son.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
Okay, I'm connecting the dots here. Zeli goes to get something, and here's Kareem talking to the guru about some very insidious-sounding plan. Great. Later that night, she finally goes to Yelissa and tells her everything about, everything that happened, and Yelissa decides to break her heart and tell her that her life is not as good as it looks, and she's basically just the only woman that the Magister sleeps with that he also shows off, and her life is shitty, so Zeli is crushed, basically.
Yeah.
They get to Saya, and Yadaris is away, so Aaron tortures Darvyn. Kyara has to watch it. I don't want to talk about it. Moving on.
Yeah.
Kyara is worried about speaking to Yudaris because, she can't lie to her. But Yudaris just thinks Kyara was fucking Darvyn when she went AWOL. Love that. I mean, you're not wrong. And all the way. Yeah. I mean, they weren't fucking yet. But she was definitely getting friendlier.
Something.
And Yudaris also lifts the part of the blood spell that says she can't defend herself against golden flames after hearing what Aaron did when he beat the shit out of her. So Yudaris is cool? ? I don't know. Yudaris inflicts a blood spell on Darvyn and makes him tell the truth. She wants to know where the caldera is. The caldera. And he's too weak to fight it and tells her that it's with the refugees in Alcira and he doesn't know who has it. And I think that this is when the True Father sent his peace treaty agreement to Jack, that if you send the refugees back, we won't kill you. Because now he knows the refugees have the caldera, so he's like,
give me my people.
Okay, give me my people back, thanks. Maybe, I don't know. The timing could be wrong, I don't even know.
Maybe, IDK.
Because then literally the next day is when, anyway. Okay.
No.
It feels too...
no, because they spent a couple days
thinking about the agreement.
No, they spent a couple days... Darvyn and Kyara spent a couple days in the Murmur Caves. So it could be, because, it was, 2 days after the agreement showed up that the whole shindig happened at the end of the first book.
Right, but if he tells Yudaris now.
No, because, okay, so...
And then 2 days later, the mantle's destroyed.
You're messing up the timelines, babe. Because, they have this day, everything's happening, and then they escape, then they go off and do stuff. Then the whole fucking... They go off and do the warehouse stuff. And then they go to bed. They fuck that morning. And then they do other stuff that day. And then
they get recaptured.
They get recaptured, but it's not until the very end the mantle's down. Kyara's already vamoosed by that point.
It's the next day. Okay.
It is not the next day! There's 2 days!
Stop yelling at me. I'm saying it's the day after that. I'm conceding to your point.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. So...
It did not sound like you were agreeing with me. Audience,
no, I was agreeing with you. I said it wrong. Jesus Christ. Okay, so... He says that once the caldera is in Alcira, they're gonna wait for word from the queen. And then Yudaris is off. She just takes the fuck off. So Darvyn is taken to the dungeons, and both he and Kyara are like, we gotta get out of here, before he's forced to give tribute to the True Father. Kyara waits, and finally a random dude in the dungeon dies, so she flies down there, siphons his nether song, and so she can control her power more accurately, and gets Darvyn out of the dungeons like it's fucking nothing. But then Aaron finds them, and she uses the last of her borrowed nether song to knock him out. But sadly, Darvyn was standing right next to her, so he also passes out. And Kyara throws Darvyn over her shoulders.
What a babe.
What a badass, dude.
Deadlift that boy.
And so he tells her to take him to the Keeper's safe house. So, there you go. Devana is running away to follow the Guru and find herself on a spiritual journey. And Zeli's like, what? What? And she basically can't do anything about it, so Devana literally just leaves and tells Zeli to lie for her. And Zeli's like, okay, maybe...
in the country where she'll literally be murdered for lying.
Right. Yeah, good idea. Tell her to do that. And Zeli's like, okay, well, I mean, at least she found a purpose? I don't know. But after she's gone, Fauna, a kitchen worker, sees a snake and cuts herself and gets scared. And Zeli captures the snake. And then Ulani comes and heals Fauna in front of everyone. And everybody's like, hey, maybe don't do that in the open. And Gladys like, no one speaks of this.
God.
You know, Ulani just wanted to help. She doesn't know. And so Zeli's taking the snake to the market, where people like to buy them alive so they can milk them. Yum. She meets a woman named Kyara? I don't know, Kyara. She knew Zeli's parents and tells her to give Glada a message that there are only 2 days left. Whatever the fuck that means. Kareem comes to see Devana, and Zeli's like, she's busy, and he knows that she's lying. So he gives her the flowers that he brought for Devana, and he leaves, obviously to go snitch on Devana, and therefore Zeli. Darvyn wakes up in the safe house, and this is when shit absolutely hits the fan, so I'm gonna have a lot of quotes. I'm really sorry. Okay? So, everyone is super pissed at him for bringing Kyara there, and he doesn't even have a chance to explain before he's literally put on trial. Formal trial. And he's trying to Darvyn's trying to figure out who betrayed him, and they're trying to figure out why he left his post and brought the king's assassin to their safe house. And he's kind of sad because he's just like, I love all these people. Who the fuck betrayed me? This is devastating. And apparently the group had traveled all the way across the country just for him. And his charges are dereliction of duty and perfidy. Don't know what either of those mean, but I think they're bad. So, yeah, they're mad. They're mad about Kyara. I have too many quotes. I got so excited here at the end. But he knows that Agar isn't the one who betrayed him, because if he wanted Darvyn dead, he would have tried to kill him himself, not rely on the true father. Love that. Love a man of action. Hanko is like, then he asks Hanko if he betrayed him, and he's like, I will be asking the question, thanks. And he knows that he also didn't betray Darvyn. And then Melody has the nerve to question his loyalty. And he says, my entire life has been about loyalty. How dare any of you question it? I've given everything. Every day I give my all. No one has exhausted their song more than I have for this cause, for freedom. If I tell you she can be trusted, why do I not get the benefit of the doubt? Melody shook her head. You are not infallible, Shadow Fox. Melody, I'm so sorry I couldn't save your parents, that you were hurt when the soldiers came searching for me and burned the house, and I wasn't there to heal you. Agar lost his family too, defending me. Many of you have lost people to this cause. You're right, I'm not infallible, I can't save everyone, much as I want to, but I am loyal. Every loss has gutted me, stolen something precious from deep inside. I have given this group far more loyalty than it has ever given me. Oh, he's really putting smack down, I tell you what. And then Hanko is like, our loyalty is not the question here. We will question Kyara and then execute her. And Darvyn's like, over my dead fucking body. And so he starts to like build up his Earth song to like fight against them so they don't kill Kyara. And Agar has Navarre collar Darvyn.
The
His
nerve!
own people!
The nerve of these men.
It be your own people.
The nerve!
So he's freaking out, and Kyara's like, don't fight for me, I chose this life. Like, it is my fault, I'm not worth it. And basically, her story just proves that Yadaris did in fact trick her into being the king's assassin. Like, What?
Yeah. Darvin just like, you were 10!
Why did you tell
What were
me
you
that?
supposed to do?
That was supposed to make me not like you? What the hell? Oh, I also just realized Yadaris and Rayal are fucking in leagues together. So
You just
Rayal...
realized this?
No, not... I meant Rayal is over here killing people and going city to city killing people. And Kyara is accidentally on the same path, and so everyone thinks all these deaths are her fault, and so she freaks out when they attack her. And then Yadaris is like, you don't have to kill all these people, you can come with me. So, of course she knew what Rayal would do. Anyway.
Let's go.
Hanko has heard enough, and he tells Zango to take her away, but he lets her go instead because if Darvyn trusts her, so does he. And she's like, hey, someone betrayed Darvyn and he's trying to figure it out, and go get that collar off. And he's like, I'm on it. So Zango goes up right behind him, breaks the collar off of Darvin's neck, and he's like, okay, I know it wasn't Zango. And he figures out that it wasn't Lizana or Navarre either. And so Darvyn finally confronts Hanko about lying about his mom. And these are the literal words that Hanko uses. We needed you focused on the mission, free from distractions. My mother was not a distraction. You could have at least taken care of her, because they just left her to rot and ignored her. And Hanko says, we are not perfect, Darvyn, but we did our best. You were a difficult child to control. Your power made you more dangerous than you realize. And you clung to her memory so earnestly. When she first came looking, it was too soon. We had just begun to make progress. There was so much at stake. And Darvyn was like, and for what? For you guys to fucking give me up to the true father. And no one is like, no one did that because no one knew about the mission. And then Hanko's like, literally side-eyes Meldy. Like, your own grandfather gives you away. So Darvyn looks at Meldy. And, he doesn't sense guilt within her, like he expected. Instead, she feels satisfaction. Is she psychotic? Has she gone off the deep end?
The trauma be getting to her.
Yeah, it is the trauma, and I don't, totally blame her, but she thinks that she did a good thing here, but not only is she the reason that Darvyn was almost killed, but she's also the reason that the children were recaptured.
Yeah.
Because the Golden Flames were on their asses, and that was why they got recaptured, and the Golden Flames were only there because of Meldy.
God, Meldy. More like stinky, am I right, ladies?
Meldy more like moldy.
Oh, that's even better. Okay, let's go. We're almost there.
Okay, so, basically she, blames him for everything and that they depend too much on him, so she wanted him out of the fucking way. Which, I don't want to brag, but I fucking knew it was Meldy from the get.
Moldy
Thank you very
Meldy.
much. Moldy Meldy, thank you very much. Hanko is, super sad because now they have to, kill her or something like that. I don't even know. Darvyn slips out, Farron finds him, and he knows how to find Kyara. So, Zeli is to be questioned by the Magister about Devana. And she is mad at Devana, obviously, because Devana asked her to do this thing, and she doesn't even give a shit about Zeli's life, because she knows that she's gonna be fucking punished for this. And so Zeli tells her the truth, and he's like, you know what, I'm not shocked, but you did lie, so 20 lashes. Great. Zeli gets whipped. Ulani finds her and heals her wounds. Sadly, Kareem is there and sees Ulani and says that she needs to give tribute. She's literally 7. And Zeli begs him not to say anything, and he's like, you know what, you're so sweet, I'll think about it. Ugh. So she tells Glada about it, and Glada's like, Kareem's gonna tell. And Zeli is just getting progressively more just stressed and overwhelmed and just sad. Like, I have quotes that, like, kind of show that, but you know she's sad. You know it's not good. And she even, like, dangles the Kyara thing in Gladys' face, and she's like, are you a fucking traitor? Anyway, Zeli's not having a good fucking week. Nope. And then, to top it all off, Yelissa has been arrested and sent to the work camps because apparently Kareem and the Guru had evidence that she was selling citizenships to people outside the wall. Like, did you literally just pull that out of your ass? Anyway, Kyara is pulled toward this warehouse and she sees Ydaris leaving it, which she thinks is very odd. And then a moment later, Rayal walks out. She uses her song to see inside, and this building is just bursting at the seams with nether song. So she's like, I gotta see what's up in there. Inside are just bodies on bodies, which all apparently died from Ydaris' various ministrations. She notices that between the whirling nether is something that is actually not anything. It's like the absence of things, and it's the void. So, there's that. She can see the void now. Cool. When she, like, starts to draw off some nether from one of the dead bodies, the void, like, rushes in to take its place, but it doesn't last long. Rayal creeps up and says he can help Kyara, of course. And Kiara's like, you don't recognize me? It's kind of like the Kaz thing again. She's like, remember me? You killed my friend.
Yeah.
Kyara is Kaz. Kyara and Kaz. Two peas in a pod. Apparently they're called, I don't know if it's physics or psychics. I cannot tell. It's physics? Okay,
because they're
physics.
physicians. Because they're physicians.
Yes, so their magic is called amalgam, and they basically, it takes the life magic of Earthsong and the death magic of Nethersong, the spirit magic of the blood, and combines it to make magical objects. And
they're basically alchemists.
Yeah. And their main goal is mortality. Of course it is. So
they're alchemists.
So he wants to take her to Yali and take her song so that she can use it, and says she won't be hurt, but she's like, that's bullshit, so she says no, and he lets her leave. Zeli is taking a bath in Devana's tub, just enjoying the last of her fucking innocence and happiness in life, and Kareem, this piece of shit, walks in and kisses Zeli. She's in the tub. And he says, when I'm Magister, I'm going to unite the Lakelands, and you can be the first of my mistresses in my harem. What a lovely offer. Thank you, Kareem. And she's freaked out and sad that the kiss was horrific, not like she imagined. It's really sad. I really hate this for her.
And, like, she's butt-ass naked, too.
I know. What the fuck? That's, like, harassment. Like harassment. Yeah, that is straight up harassment.
It's harassment!
So, Farron shows Darvyn the warehouse where Kyara is, and then he leaves to get himself and Zango out of the city. He doesn't want to leave, but Darvyn makes him. Kyara runs straight into him in her haste to get out of the warehouse, and the soldiers are looking for them everywhere, so Kiara's like, I know the place to go. Ulani and Tana's house, because it's in the rich part of the town, so they won't think to look there. And she tells Darvyn about Rayal and is sorry that she didn't kill him, but he's like, that's the least of my fucking worries. And then he tells her about Meldy. And then basically they're like, you have to forgive yourself. And then the other one's like, you have to forgive yourself. And they're the same person, and they help each other, and it's very cute. Darvyn breaks down, crying. Kyara sings to him the lullaby that his mother sang. Are you kidding? And they fall asleep in each other's arms. It's very sweet. And when they wake up, they have sex. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. It's good.
It's like softcore.
It is. She comes 3 times, which is pretty good for her.
Love that for her. We got like some classic like softcore romance novel language, some silk and steel. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it wasn't as crazy as what I heard for Jack and Jesmond, but you know, we can't have it all.
That was the self pub. This is the profesh pub.
This is made for smaller people, younger people, so they toned it down.
It's new adult. This is not young adult. This is new adult.
I know. I wish that they didn't have to tone it down, because it is new adult, and that's very obvious. So it's like,
okay, hold on. Let's roll it
that.
back. Let's roll it back. This is new adult. This is not adult romance novels like Sarah J. Maas is now currently writing. So it's going to be a little more tame.
I wish new adult would just go for it. Why can't we have that? Why can't we have fantasy and romance and the smut? Why can't we have it all?
Or at least can't we just have, like, well-written plots with, like, hardcore sex scenes? Like
exactly, where it's, like, it's good payoff and then it's good sex, you know? Yeah, why can't we have that?
Like, me and my, like, 150,000 word fics.
Ah, man. We just have to get into the self-publishing world.
Okay,
We should just start reading self-published books only. Okay, anyways.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Keep going, babes. We're almost done.
So, Zeli is wandering outside of the city because she's just straight up depressed, man. She's going through it. And there's a griot thinking about the Shadow Fox, and Zeli remembers when her parents sheltered him for a while. What? But then, you know, her parents were killed after that, so she's kind of angry, obviously.
Yeah. Understandable.
Zeli tried to imagine the heroic figure the others saw but couldn't. All she could see was the door smashed in and her mother screaming wildly. Yikes! That's some unaddressed trauma. And she, like, starts yelling at the griots. She's like, what about all the people that died for him? And people are like, oh, sweetheart, you need to go. And then some people will get mad, but then Kyara is there. And she tells Zeli about her parents, how they were standing up for something, and sometimes that means you have to make sacrifices. And she thinks of Kareem's offer, and she's like, there's literally nothing here for me, but what the fuck else am I gonna do? And Kyara says that they're leaving for Elsira at dawn, and Zeli wants Ulani and Tana to go with them. Glada is gonna take them and go with them, but Ulani doesn't want to leave without Zeli, and Zeli admits that she's scared, which is understandable, and Ulani says that they'll be brave enough for her. I cry. Suddenly, Kareem is there. Kareem is on the scene, and Zeli knows that she needs to, like, lead him away because he can't realize that Ulani and Tana and Glada are all gone. And so she's like, you go, I'll meet you at dawn. Yeah. She thinks she's lying. Darvyn and Kyara go for breakfast after they have sex. And as soon as they get to the market, Aaron is there. He had to have been tracking them or something. Anyway. They won't show themselves, so Aaron brings out Meldy and Farron that they have captured somehow, and threatens to kill them if Darvyn doesn't give himself up, and so Darvin's like, no one else dies for me, like the hero he is, and gives himself up. they collar him immediately, and Ydaris gives Kyara a command and that she can't hurt anybody, so she's no longer a threat, and they take him to the palace. Great. Zeli sees Kareem sprinting out of the Magister's suites, and she's like, that's not good. So, turns out, Kareem stabbed the Magister, but he's not dead. The man is still alive.
Because the knife's still in him.
Yeah, like, Kareem has no idea how to kill people, obviously.
No, he's a little rich boy.
And then, Zeli's like, what the fuck do I do? And then suddenly Ulani is there, and they have to pull the knife out of him, like, out of his bone, and it's incredibly graphic. I feel horrible for Ulani, the poor child, but she saves him. She saves him. And this man who hates Earthsingers is so grateful that he offers to make Zeli one of the favored, but she turns it down. And the Magister says that he's going to kill Kareem. And then Zeli and Ulani make a break for the gate. This is so sweet. Hold on. How did you know to come? She asked Ulani. You cannot lie to an Earthsinger, Zeli, she said sweetly. And Zeli is like the suffix for sisters. Oh. So, Darvyn immediately taken to give tribute. Awesome. The servant who's like getting him ready thinks that he put Darvyn to sleep. So he thinks it's safe to take his collar off, but Darvyn is just like can't move, and so when he takes the collar off, his song comes rushing back, so he's like awake and everything, but he can't control his body, so he's just lying there. And then the true father comes in and starts the process of taking his song. So.
Yeah, it's not great.
Then Kyara is with Ydaris, and Ydaris flips the fucking script. She says, go kill the true father. Or stop him, at least, from taking Darvyn's song, because he can't be that popular. I can't be here anymore. He needs to stop. And so she gives Kyara this amalgam that holds a bunch of Nether song, and she sprints off to go save Darvyn. Go Ydaris. Kinda. She basically just is dropping people left and right, and manages to free Farron on her way. And then she is at the room where it happens. And she thought that she would be, like, with the help from the amalgam, nether, whatever, that she would just be able to, like, accelerate the true father's existing nether inside of him. But he's so fucking old and has killed so many people and is so horrible that he is just, like, this entity that she can't touch. So all she can do really is siphon the nether that is filling Darvyn's body as he's dying, and it gives him the chance to regain his song. What? Am I not making any sense?
No, it's just it didn't make sense when I read it. So
it didn't make sense when I read it, so that's why I'm like trying to explain it. Like,
no, go for it.
So she is siphoning off the nether, and Darvyn is able to regain his song. And then we're in Darvyn POV, and while the true father is doing his sadistic thing, Darvyn talks to the queen, who says that Kyara is helping, and apparently the true father needs the nether song to take his earth song. That's confusing. I don't understand that. I don't know. But then he's fighting the true father. Darvyn, 1v1 with the true father. And it's a fight scene, and it's really a lot. Darvyn's really strong, and the true father is also very strong, but luckily the old bag hasn't fought in a while, and his song tires quickly. And then he pins him to the wall, and Darvyn crashes through the door, and him and Kyara run away.
Yeah, it's too much words were spent on this little fight.
I think it was just to show, like, what Earthsong can do, but...
And I guess maybe, like, this is supposed to be, like, her being like, this is how Jasminda was able to get the drop on the True Father.
Oh, maybe, because he was, like, weakened from this fight.
Well, and then also she's like, he's a wimpy-ass little baby.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah, so even Kyara notices that his Earthsong ability is, like, waning way faster than she would have thought it would, so... So they're running out of the palace. There's guards everywhere, so they can't make it out of the gates. They meet up with Farron and Zango, and they agree that Kyara is going to lead them away, and they're going to get Darvyn to safety, because he wore his song out. He is literally falling asleep standing up. So Kyara's running around, gets Aaron's attention, runs up to him, is being held at gunpoint, and Aaron pulls the trigger at the last second, and Darvyn is somehow in between the bullet. No. Aaron is pointing the gun at Kyara at the last second, turns it on Darvyn, and shoots Darvyn. So Darvyn is dead. She sees the nether song explode inside of him, and she loses her shit. An atom bomb of nether comes out of this girl, and she has no control. People on people on people dying, dropping like flies. And then there's she may not have stopped, but Ydaris and Rayal are suddenly there, immune somehow, and tell her to stop. So she stops. She's in shock about what she's done, and Rayal just escorts her away. Apparates somehow. They have apparating, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then Ydaris, we get a little of her POV. She's actually from Yali, and she's been trying to find her way back. She doesn't even have Earthsong. She just has been faking it this whole time, and somehow got magic to the highest rank. But anyway, so that's her story. She wants to go back to Yali, and she's pissed that she has to clean up this mess. But she has this little contraption, amalgam, that floods everyone in the vicinity with Earthsong, because Kyara didn't kill everyone. She just took their Earthsong, or just took their nether, and it was replaced with the void, so all Ydaris has to do is put Earthsong back in them, and everybody wakes up. Except for Aaron. He's dead for sure. He's all the way gone.
He was the nucleus of the explosion, I guess.
I really thought Darvyn was dead forever. I was actually kind of freaking the fuck out.
Okay, I knew he was not because he was in the epilogue.
I did too. I thought I don't even know. I forgot about that. I was just so upset that Darvyn was dead. But he wakes up. Everyone's confused, but Kyara is gone. And he is panicking. And Farron is like, hey, maybe she went to our rendezvous. Let's go there. Ulani and Zeli and crew are trekking through the woods. And Ulani feels when the mantle is destroyed. And there's a griot there, the griot that we keep seeing. And she implies that maybe Lagrimar has more than one scorpion, with a wink at Tana, basically. Not really, but we know what she means. So, Darvyn and crew wait all day. Nothing. No word from Kyara. Mm-hmm. And then is it the next day that the mantle falls?
No, because they're waiting all day and then the mantle falls. So
you're telling me that the True Father fought Darvyn and then made it across the country to the breach?
No.
Explain those events then.
No. I think he goes to sleep. I'm not gonna go check the book. But it's like the next day.
It's fine. It's a reasonable amount of time. I can believe it. Whatever. Okay.
Because I feel like it's the next morning.
Maybe, yeah. I think maybe they do go to sleep or something.
I don't know.
Or they wait up all night. I don't know.
Why are you asking me? I listened to this audiobook at 2.75 speed.
That is not my fault.
Okay, let's keep going.
So,
final chapter.
Yeah, they get news that the mantle is no more, and that Elsiran soldiers, and also that the true father was captured. Elsiran's soldiers are making their way to Saya. Lagramari people making their way to Elsira. It's a big happy day. This is what the Keepers have been fighting for 500 years. But everyone agrees that, like, oh, this doesn't feel as sweet as we thought it would. So, and then Ula is there, and she tells him, we get the conversation that we got from the end of the last book, but now we know that he wants to go find Kyara, and Ula's like, it's not time. You have to bring her family back. Or you have to go help them. And I think that he has to go rescue her family. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So the uncle plot line that we thought was going to happen? No.
It's not. I'm pretty sure it's not. Unless somehow Darvyn's dad is still related to Jasminda's dad, but I'm not sure. Anyway, Zeli is in Elsira, living it up with the girls. Living it up with her girls. Ulani, Tana, Glada. And she's thinking of joining the sisterhood.
Don't!
Uh-oh. And then epilogue. Kyara wakes up in a Yali prison, in a surprisingly soft bed. There are twin boys there, teenagers, gingers, and a Lagramari man that says he's their father. And they've been there for, well, at least 2 years. And then Rayal and Yadaris are there, and it's time to start their torture, or whatever they're gonna do to Kyara. So, that was this book. An absolute masterpiece.
God.
I cannot get over this, dude.
Like, it truly was, like, because next book takes place 6 weeks after this, and it brings all of our favorite characters together.
Oh, thank God. I figured it would be after. I was like, there's no way we're getting another before story.
Yeah. So, very excited for that. Okay, let's move on. Theme park. We kind of touched on the theme already. Just like this idea of what will you do to save your life? Is your life worth more others? Is what is the life of one compared to the life of the many kind of thing?
Yeah. Yeah. And what do we think of the people, or the difference in opinion of what we think of those people that have to make those decisions?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also feel like we already kind of talked about Devar and... Devar? I keep saying Devar, don't I? It's Darvyn. My God.
It's Darvyn.
And Kiara's relationship, how they're, like, just have mutual trauma that they can bond over. But and they make each other stronger. They honestly help each other.
Yeah, and, like, how they're kind of foils for each other.
How?
Well, let me think about that. Well, like, they're just, like, extremely powerful, like, in their own ways, and I read this in a Goodreads review, but, like, how, like, he's an extremely powerful Earthsinger, and, like, she's an extremely powerful Nether Singer, she just doesn't know how to control it, and how he, like, her whole life she's been working for the true father, more or less, and then his whole life has been spent to find the true father, and...
Yeah. And I also think, I don't think Kyara really understands, like, I don't want to say she had a privileged life by any means, because she was literally tortured, but I mean, I do think that she had more food, at least, than other people, and I don't think she understands really what maybe it means to not have food, maybe? I don't know. But I think that changes her perspective for sure about, like, the people who, like, the payrollers and people who are just doing what they can.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about love.
We just said that. We already talked about them. We just talked about...
I thought we were still on theme park.
No, I meant we can skip let's talk about love because we already talked about how good they are together.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are you talking about? I know it's late, but still. Okay.
I don't think I have. They both basically are just like, as soon as they see each other, they're like, who's that person? I want to know that person. And then they realize that they're the same person, and they help and support each other, and it's beautiful and magical.
Okay, anyways, so representation station, a few things. One, I love a book without white people.
I know.
I wish there were gay people. When are you gonna give me that content?
Well, the aunt is gay, we just didn't see her this book.
We saw her in brief passing.
Yeah.
Can't wait for Pride Month. Human trafficking, you hate to see it.
Yep.
You know, that caste system of social hierarchy, you hate to see it.
Yeah. I thought it was really interesting how when we first meet Zeli, she's like mentally chastising herself for saying Lake Town instead of Lower Falagal, like the elite people do, because she wants to be like them so bad that she's even like policing her own thoughts, which I think is insane. Let me see if I had anything else. I had a couple notes. In the book.
Kind of like this discussion about how Zeli wants to be able to use like her femininity as a way to climb up the social ladder, but then those who have had to do that say, do not do that, you are good where you are.
Right. Yeah, it's like I just really don't think she sees people with nice things that she does not have, and like she thinks that they're comfortable and that they don't have to work hard. But like Yelissa, for example, is, I mean, I don't think that she's necessarily the upper class because she still has to like work for what she has. She's basically a sex worker. So
not basically, she literally is just like the not minstrel. She's the bard, like a bard who the magistrate fucks.
Yeah, here Zeli says, your rooms are fine and you wear beautiful clothes and you don't have to serve. You think I don't serve? She laughed harshly. I have done you a disservice all these years. I've allowed you to think that this life is full of glamour because I couldn't stand to crush your dreams or see you disappointed. So yeah.
You know, didn't like the fact that human trafficking was in this book, but you know, that is like a reality of like poor countries like this who are run by dictators.
Yeah. You know. And the human trafficking is to fuel the workforce mainly.
Yeah.
Because the True Father works people so hard that they're running out of people to work in the factories, and he stopped letting people farm on their own to just control them that much more. He even controls literally the food that they eat, and just makes people work themselves to literal death.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Plus all the people that Yadaris is killing for her blood magic.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into Night of the Living Author. Okay. Did we have any qualms we wanted to bring up to Penelope? I feel like there was something earlier, but then I was like, oh, let's talk about it later. But I did not write it down, what that was.
No, I have no qualms. I think this is a work of art and it should be in a museum.
It's very good. It's very good. I really enjoyed it. I wish more people knew about this book series.
This is where I'm gonna say it, okay?
Hmm?
I'm planning a very extensive proposal for an HBO-funded limited series. Okay?
Are you just gonna make like 45 TikToks about this?
No, I'm making a full YouTube video.
Okay.
So,
Go for it.
that's coming, and that's how much I care about this. I'm so obsessed. I need everyone to know about it, and people love TV, so let's give it to them, you know?
Okay. Yeah. All right. I think that brings us to rate that book.
Yes, it does.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. 11, 9,000 out of 10.
It's a solid book. Would we let our middle school selves read this? Maybe high school.
Yeah, I'm not sure about middle school. We didn't talk about fan theories.
We kind of talked about them in the middle of it.
Yeah. Mainly about how, what's-her-face's family's alive?
Yeah.
I also think that, like, the Earthsingers, like, the Keepers and the Queen are definitely not whole, as righteous as they're made out to be. Like, I think that they aren't necessarily 100% truthful. And maybe have something more sinister going on. Yeah. But that's just the vibe I get.
Okay. How believable was the magic? Very good.
I thought the magic was really good. It did get a little confusing, but it just made me... I just had to, like, slow down and, like, kind of fully wrap my mind around what was going on.
Yeah.
And I feel like I get it now. I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on it, so...
Yeah. Okay. So next week we're reading Book 3, Cry of Metal and Bone.
Yes.
Very exciting.
I'm very excited.
You know where to find us on our socials. It is almost 10:30 p.m. I want to edit this episode and go to bed.
Just toss it together, toss it up, baby.
Yeah. It might be I wake up tomorrow morning and edit it together.
There you go.
All right. You know where to find us online.
We haven't done our little thing we used to say at the end in a long time.
What? I'm gonna go to the bathroom?
And we majored in English for this. And I can't believe that one.
Oh! Yeah!
We haven't said it in a long time.
Yeah, we haven't done that in a while. We just started doing the bye-byes.
Bye-bye. I kind of like that too, though.
Okay, yeah, and we majored in English for this.
I can't believe we majored in English for this.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.